In this video, I'm going to show you how to reproduce this particular image that was posted on a Facebook group using StarCraft or Create software. And you'll notice I put it here, I was quite proud, I nailed it. It took some playing around in order to get it. One of the things, I couldn't use the wave function because the wave function, which is really cool, but the wave function is going to curve the top and the bottom of the letters. And you'll notice that in this particular example, the top, right across the top is perfectly horizontal, and then on the bottom row, perfectly horizontal, and then in the middle you see both the top and bottom are curved. So here's how I did it. First of all, the font is called Keep On Truckin'. If you want to go find it and download it, it's a free font. You can just Google Keep On Truckin' free font, and you'll find some places to grab it. So then I typed out the letters and I ungrouped it. I use Object and Group or right click and ungroup the letters, and then I made three rows, 3 copies of it. With equal spacing. And now then, this is how it works. I'm going to select the first 4 letters and, oops, come down here, first 4 letters, and go to Effects, Bridge Warp. And this is the function that gets used for basically all of the warping for this particular design. So I want the top offset set to 0 because I don't want that would change, that forces this to stay flat. All right, so leave it at 0. And then the bottom offset, I'm going to make it minus 0.2. And when I do that, it gives you that curve downwards that you see over here, in the example they've been posted. And then I just click on OK. Then I take the second 2 letters and I do the opposite on those. Effects, Bridge Warp. And this time, and I'm going to go positive. Again, leave that at 0, and then I'm going to go positive by the same amount, 0.2. Okay. Then the bottom row, I'm going to do the bottom row next, and I do the opposite. Effects, Bridge Warp. This time I need the bottom offset to stay at 0, and then I need the top offset to go to minus 2 or minus 0.2. Okay, and then I take the second half or the second 2 letters, last 2 letters, and go to Effects, Bridge Warp, and again set that at 0, and then go positive on that 0.2. Okay, then I take the middle row, take the first 4 letters, and go to Effects, Bridge Warp. This time I'm going to do sync offset so that it will curve, because you'll see in the example both the bottom and the top of the letters are curved. And then I'm going to go to 0.2, minus 0.2. Okay, and you'll notice that it changes what it's doing with the top offset. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it does, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. You just say, okay. And then just remember it's bottom offset minus 0.2. And then I take the last 2 letters, Effects, Bridge Warp, again, sync the offset, and then make this positive 0.2. Okay. Then that's basically it. I did take these and I moved them down just like 1 space down, 1 space up. And if that's too much, then you can adjust it a little bit. Then the last thing is just to change the letters and the way you change them to outline letters, which I didn't put in the first video that I did, but like I said, I deleted that video so I could come back and redo it. And then here on the, let's come over and pop out the fill and stroke panel. On the fill and stroke panel, I'm going to get rid of the fill on it, okay? And then come down here and pick the color I want to use for the stroke. And then I set the stroke at 4. And that's going to be entirely whatever you want it to be. You definitely want it to be thick enough that you're going to be able to cut it. And then once you do that, then come over here to Path and select Path, Stroke to Path, so that that converts it from just a display stroke to something that will actually cut out. Okay, and then this last one, same thing, just take this bottom one, change the fill to none, change the color of the stroke to blue, and then increase it up to 4 and go to Path, Stroke to Path. And then once you do that, you have your letters. Now I think this middle one still had a stroke on it, and so I'm going to turn off the stroke on it, say none on it, just so it's consistent with the others. Then the last thing, I forgot about that, which I think makes it look a little bit better, is go to Object, Distribute space vertically. And I'm doing that on each of the 3 same letters, like a column of letters here. Object, Distribute space vertically. And then just repeat that for each letter. Okay, and then once I do that, basically, again, that's how I reproduce this. Basically, this design. Now, again, the spacing here is like a little tight. You might want to move it down a little bit. You can use your nudge arrow keys over here on the position size. I'll pop it out, and you can use it to. And mine's set really tight, so you know it's. I have to click it a lot of times. Oh, by the way, and one more thing, I can't help myself. I always kind of get into extra stuff, but your nudge arrows here, the amount distance that things get moved is under Edit Preferences. Go to the Edit tab, and then it's right here. It's under Nudge. I have mine set to 0.002, which is really, really small because I was working on some other project, but yours is probably set higher than that. But anyway, that's how you control how much the nudge arrows go. And then, of course, this is for the regular arrows on your keyboard. That's how the distance that they move. So anyway, hope this helps. And if you have any questions, be sure and let me know.